good to have your company here on TSB for this Wednesday, September the 28th. Lachlan Kitchen and Neil Lodger here. Join the conversation on WhatsApp 0586861003. And the countdown is on for the UAE men's T20 side. October the 16th, the boys are taking on Netherlands in the first match of the World Cup.
Well, yes, the boys have been preparing really well. In fact, they got 2 games against Bangladesh to start off their campaign before they travel to Australia. And I think those 2 games have been setting the right tone for the UAE boys.
Well, we're lucky enough to be joined by the coach, Mr. Singh, the coach of the UAE men's cricket side. I think he's at a party somewhere. I can hear everyone's... you're having an end of tour, or beginning of tour party or something, are you, Robin?
Yeah, I'm chilling out for a bit.
But my first question is, as an Australian, I'm trying to get a flight home. How did you guys actually find tickets home? It's hard to get into Australia right now.
That's not our department. That's ICC. They need to make sure that they organize the event.
Okay, it's who you know, I guess. It's who you know.
No, but then first up, it's a fantastic unit that we've seen, and 2 games against Bangladesh. Robin, if you could tell us, how have those 2 games played a role for you in setting up the tone for the boys going into Australia?
I think, as you know, it's a pretty inexperienced team we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mentioned this in the interview earlier that we did. It's for us, the experience of playing against an international team is a big thing, first of all. And I think the more than anything else, it was to see how they coped up with the challenges that they would face. I thought we did exceptionally well in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably could have walked that game. I think with a little bit of experience, especially in the middle order, like the way we played yesterday,
mm-hmm.
I think if we had done that the previous game, we probably would have walked the first game.
Right.
And I think importantly is to be able to compete with these teams. And I think we did that pretty well. We kept them under par score in both the games. I think what let us down is our batting and our fielding. And I would say that that's 2 areas that we really need to work on. Of course, the bowling we need to step up a bit, right? We played a lot of young guys. We had people like Ahmed sitting on the bench because I wanted to expose the other guys around and know what he can do.
Yeah.
And we had another senior bowler who I had a choice to play, but I didn't want to play him because I needed to give others a chance to play.
It's always hard when you travel to Australia, given the pitches are notoriously hard. How are your preparations going in getting the players ready to play on the bouncy, flat pitches of Australia?
Yeah, that's what everyone says. But, based on my conversations that I had with people in Melbourne and a couple of the ex-cricketers, it's the start of the season. We are going to play the first phase of this tournament on drop-in wickets. So I think these conditions might probably suit us a little better
Mm-hmm.
at the start. And it's getting past that. But I think we did a lot of preparation in the indoors on ICC wickets, right? And they have some pretty good surfaces. We have a few Australian surfaces here that we practice on. So I'm not too worried about the bouncy tracks. I think what actually troubled us was actually the swing, more than anything else. And that seems to trouble every batsman in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So importantly, I think is to be able to understand what needs to be done in those conditions. When the outfields are bigger, you have to run harder, you have to hit gaps. You can't think of hitting 6s all the time. So these are the small elements and changes that one will have to incorporate into the game.
Right. Yesterday was a very spectacular day where we saw a 90-run partnership coming in. In fact, this is the biggest 5th wicket partnership at the Dubai stadium between the skipper CP Rizwan and Basil Hamid. At the 10th over mark, when you walked in, was there a conversation that led them to play in a certain way, after which they settled in and then they started hitting big?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we were trying to win the game. Right? It became quite tough because I think after the 6th over, we were chasing 10 over, which is always a massive task, right? That's a situation that you don't want to get into at all. So, once we went in there, it's important to get your eye in, it's, irrespective of how big the total is, right? You can't just go in and hit against international bowlers. And I think the important thing was to get about 8, 9 and over consistently and see where the game took us, maybe to the 12th to the 14th over, and see how best we can get to as close to the score as possible, if not win the game. Because it's important to get that confidence as well. And I think we did that pretty well. That's what we were trying to do. Because we can't expect to get 15 and over. We don't have the experience to do that at the end of the day.
Well, Robin, I mean, you've played at the highest level. You're now coaching the UAE side. But as we move along to CP Rizwan, thanks for joining us also on Zoom. Talk us through the coach and why Robin is such a good coach leading into this tournament.
A bunch of youngsters. You said it's an inexperienced side that we are taking into Australia. We have some experienced boys, but a bunch of very exciting youngsters. I know Ayan made his debut, 16-year-old, showing a lot of confidence. A word on these youngsters for all our listeners.
Well, that's the way to go. I mean, T20 is a young man's game, if I may say so. No offense meant to anybody. I mean, you need to have young legs, fresh minds, people who are not afraid, carrying no baggage, trying to play as freely as possible. It's important. Of course, they'll make a lot of mistakes, but we have tried to sort of balance the seniors and the juniors. The guys who are in the setup right now, they have been with the senior team for 2 years now. Right. So that means they were much younger earlier. So we try to incorporate that into the system, and that's sort of, we've played them a lot of matches. We play a lot of matches, locally to get them the experience. We have taken many of them on tours, so we started to rotate these things so that everyone gets some sort of experience. But I think they're pretty confident guys. I saw a lot of positives from this tournament. They were not afraid. They were right up there with the big boys, and I think a lot of teams recognize that as well. And based on the talks that I heard in the past as well, a lot of teams think that we have grown in stature. So that's a big testament to the guys who put in the work, not only the players, but I think the staff. So I think going forward, it's quite exciting for UAE cricket, and that's probably the way we'll go forward going in the years to come.
I think so. This is something that's great for the players, but it also does inspire the next generation of cricketers going through, seeing that it is possible for the UAE to be at the big tournaments and also perform well. The first team we're taking on, it's Netherlands, October 16. That's the match. Who do you think are the danger players with the Netherlands, Robin? What are we looking out for to try and get a victory?
I think they have a few good players. I mean, they have playing a lot of cricket as well, and they're quite a seasoned team. They have, I mean, I don't really call out names so much. Yeah. But they do have a decent side. They seem to know what they're doing. But I think we have a pretty good side as well. So I'm pretty confident that we can counter whatever they put on board. So I don't want to really praise too many people. As a matter of fact,
yeah, why would you?
I'm not here to praise them. They're here to compete against them and beat them.
No, that's fantastic. But then again, we've got a group where we have Namibia. We've seen what they can do, Netherlands and Sri Lanka. Getting through these lads, we probably just need an inspirational performance. And I think, what we saw in the last couple of days where we almost got ahead of Bangladesh in the first T20, I think we have the raw material to deliver what is required to get into the next stage of the World Cup, Robin.
Yeah, that's right. It requires a calm head. In these situations, you need a calm head. You need to trust your own ability, not panic. I think panic is the key word here, right? So we just need to be calm. We need to be playing sensible cricket, not go out of the box too much when you're in a situation to nail a game.
No, you're right. There's one question that, we were wondering, and you spoke about this yesterday as well, and that is the role of Ahmed Raza. We didn't see him playing the two T20s, but I'm sure that there is something lined up for him as one of the senior statesmen.
Yeah, definitely. He's our most senior bowler. So I'm looking forward to his participation in the World Cup. I think he's somebody who brings a lot to the table. And I think it's important for someone like him to have a round, even with CP on the ground as well. The good thing is the people who you have played in his place, have done exceptionally well. People like Karthik,
Right.
Ayan Khan, these two guys have been exceptional. Of course, you can't replace someone like Amit. But at the end of the day, it's really about a combination that's going forward. But saying that, I think he will bring a lot to the table.
Well, good luck. I think you've got the entire UAE nation behind you. We really believe in you, and we are looking forward and counting down the days until that first match of the Men's IC T20 World Cup when the UAE take on Netherlands. It's going to be midday our time. That's 7 p.m. The time in Geelong, which is a city sort of just outside Melbourne. So given it's a busy schedule for you guys, thank you very much, Robin, for joining us just before you head off to Australia. How they're going to be successful, we know it.
Well, yes, I mean, see, that's what Robin said, right? You need to have a cool head.
Yeah.
You're calm, you're composed, things become simpler for you. And that's what I saw yesterday, in the game between UAE and Bangladesh. UAE had lost wickets quickly. They didn't really have too many runs on board, but chasing 170, a 90-run partnership coming in between CP and Basil Hamid. The two boys who were extremely popular amongst, the subcontinent followers of cricket coming in from Kerala. I think I'm telling you right now that while these two were batting, 90% of Kerala was watching them bat and cheering for them. I mean, there would have been no one on the roads because two Kerala boys fighting it out against Bangladesh for UAE, I think couldn't have made us proud.
Represents.
Absolutely. I mean, this was fantastic. And I think, the cool head that Robin was talking about, these lads definitely have it on their shoulders.
So it's the UAE Netherlands on Sunday the 16th of October, and then Sri Lanka taking on the UAE Tuesday the 18th of October, and Namibia UAE Thursday 20th of October, and they are the big three games, all of which are going to be played nice civil time of midday Dubai time. TSB